Well, first off, just good morning, everybody. My name is Brett Mitchell, for those who don't know. I'm one of the bargainers at LAP, currently filling in for Chairman Reisinger while he is up north working on our national contract. So just want to thank President Dunn, Vice President Shekels for organizing this and making sure that we have the opportunity to have our membership well-trained and well-prepared for, I guess, what is conceivably the unknown. Contract negotiations are just that, they're negotiations, and thanks to them and thanks to our staff up north working hard. Hopefully we're going to come up with the best contract that we possibly can for each and every one of the workers inside the building. Our membership has by far done their part and given back, and now it's time for Ford and their record profits to cough a little bit of that back up and go ahead and reward the membership for the hard work, the blood, sweat, and the tears that you folks put into the plant every single day. So I think this is a great opportunity. We got a couple of gentlemen from up north that are here to help us out and guide us. Also do a whole lot of collection and entry. So there's a lot of information that you're going to get today. The buttons, the strike packets, the cards. For those that aren't here today, we once available, we will try to get those cards inside the plant. We will figure out a distribution method so that everybody has the opportunity to fill them out. We'll collect them. We'll come up with a collection process as well, and make sure that once every other day, once a day, we get that group of cards back to the hall so that they can be entered, collected, and given to these gentlemen and filed up north. So I guess as far as that goes, thank you guys for all that you do, and once again, thanks for setting all this up, sir.
All right, so just for housekeeping purposes, we got you coming out. I know a lot of volunteers got here about 9 and hot dogs before you leave, but we've got an organizing support partner from International. We got Mitchell, you would raise your hand. So they got a hold of us probably, 3 weeks ago, 2.5, 3 weeks ago, letting us know they're going to come out and put on just a quick overview. So this is going to be soundbite day, right? So the members can go back in and say, here's the sound bites that we heard. We actually go to training on the 16th and 17th for strike training. So we got strike assistance training. That really is not what's going on today. Today is just, again, those touch points. Strike assistance training, you could take one of these today, but when you come back, I remember doing the last class here in the gymnasium, but we actually will have these available then, and it actually breaks down the what, when, why, where, and how, the layout of the plants, and we'll get down into the details, how the picket lines will be dealt with, how many hours will be served, right, for that week to get your benefits. How we're going to process the membership, trying to figure out how we're going to do it. We can't process 12,000 members if we had to go on strike and we shut, and both plants were targeted. There's no way we can run 12,000 members through both of our halls and sustain it, facilitate it, period. So we'll have to go somewhere like Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center, which we're actually working on. So there's a lot of work that's been going on already for the last 3 months, all the way from constitutional preparations, getting all your proposals turned in. I know I was one of the co-chairs and really dialed in at the convention. I wanted to know it front, back, side to side. I ate, slept, and drank and everything. Didn't even have a family. Focused on this whole process. And I'll tell you, in my 28 years, I've never seen it done, what's going on, done this way. As far as the membership being, the transparency, every single proposal being looked at, read, and Brett can explain how in depth that was. It was insane. So what we've got is we've got the final binder, and this is what was approved about 4 or 5 weeks ago in Nevada. We went out, we actually went through every single final proposal. So just to get to here was 3 months worth of work, maybe 4. And then when we got to here, we spent 4 days, from morning dusk to dawn almost, going over it. So they're already started. They started 2 weeks ago. They're in the glass house up north right now. Your national negotiators are, and we're in constant contact with them. What's great about it is out of the negotiators, you've got basically 6 main production negotiators, and we we got 2 of them from the south, and they're ours, right? So we're dialed in as far as you can get in to get the 40,000-foot view info. You won't be getting all that info, right, because they can't share everything, but we'll be getting a lot of info back to the local union, and we'll be feeding back what your information is on the floor. Here's what the members are upset about. They want to kind of know about this. Can we share anything about this? And that's that transparency information going back and forth so we can be informed. We'll have practice pickets. I know one of the things that Chris Budnick did is he went over to UPS and did a practice picket when I was out of town, and I actually went and did it. Took some volunteers. I went and did 2 last week for UPS. You probably saw us blowing the whistles on the side of the road, and we've already ordered these for us. We'll have them for us as well, and cards and all the same information, and we plan on doing practice pickets. All this stuff in my 28 years, I've never seen it happen like this. So we need to be prepared. We talked about having the membership be prepared. It's the most opportunistic time to have to go on strike if necessary, but it's also very important to maintain patience. You know, we get down to the very end. You know, some members are like, damn, we need to go on strike now. Well, you go on strike now, walk out that door, it's a whole lot harder to come in. Even if they get to a point to where they got real close to economics and they need a few extra days or an extra week of leverage, we may need to be called on for that extra week of leverage, and we need to support our international union because it's that leverage that can get us over that final hump sometimes without having to go out. So if we have to go out, you think that we've been trying to be prepared and get the cart before the horse now, it's going to be insane trying to process 12,000 members and then process 56,000 man and women hours on the picket line and strike duty on top of trying to get everybody their benefit of $500. So I'm going to turn it over to our international organizing staff. I'm going to give it to Danny, let him kind of give the overview. We've got cards over here, it's going to be signed. We've got Marcus over there working on the app. The app will be our one-way communication. If you don't have it, please see him so he can get you logged in. Make sure you sign in with Marlene over here. Louis, I was just asking him on Brett Mitchell on the intro, 5554 he hired in on the Parkway, right? A long time ago. In 1965 was your first contract, correct? You've been involved with local contracts and international contracts, and you're still here with us today. So got a lot of history there. With that, turn it over. All right. Does just the head works? All right.
Just this?
Yeah, put it right there. Collar.
You got it now? Okay. Do I need this?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So some of y'all are hard of hearing like me, ain't you? All right. So as Todd said, my name's Danny Truel. I'm organizer. I'm actually not from up north. I'm from Texas. So anyways, I'm from Region 8. Avery is my coworker. He's from Tennessee. So really what we wanted to do was just take a few minutes and be able to come and talk to you guys about the contract campaign that's coming up. Everybody knows it's pretty rough times right now. Companies are trying to take positions. We're trying to take positions. So really what we wanted to try to do was to have a conversation with you about how do we mobilize the membership in a efficient manner, and then how do we get everybody bought in. So the first step typically in trying to make some moves or make some movements is bringing everybody together, right? Obviously we're having multiple meetings today, and you guys are the start of it, so you guys are going to be the kickoff group. So anyways, so does anybody know what the top priorities have been outlined as for this upcoming contract? What was it? Cola.
Tiers.
And then the tiers. And job security. That's been the 3 that the IEB have tagged as top priorities for them, right? It's not the only issues on the table, but it is some top priorities for the national bargaining team, right? So does it mean we're going to get them all? I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to try to give ourselves and you the best opportunity there is to make that happen, right? So some of that is things that we probably should have been doing in the past, right? Being a little more public about our position, being a little more firm about our position, right? Activating the membership, getting them more involved. These companies have made trillions of dollars since the last contract. We have not been able to claw back some of the things that we lost many years ago. So we feel at this point that this is a good time to try and do that. Do we get there? We'll see. At the end of the day, you guys will be the ones voting on that contract ultimately. You will make the decision, right? So, what do you think it would take at this facility to have 80, 90, 100% participation in any action that was going on or anything that we decided to do?
Communication.
Communication? Anybody else?
That sign-off bonus, because these young kids don't understand that big check right there, and they go, I'm gonna vote for you.
Oh, get rid of the signing bonus. Huh? Okay, all right, yeah, okay, all right. Anyways, well, in all honesty, coming from organizing, it really takes conversations, right? Conversations about the workplace and conversations about what's going on, right? So part of this is we're going to ask you to do a few things, you know, so that we can capture this information, so that we're able to communicate with the membership directly, but also leadership's going to be involved as well. So one of the things is a conversation. So we're going to be asking you guys at some point to sign on some cards, right? So that we can capture information and be able to communicate with folks. But is the conversation really, hey man, sign this card?
No.
Hey man, I need you to sign this card. Ma'am, can you sign the card? That ain't really a conversation about what's going on. So what does that conversation look like? Anybody got any ideas?
You know what's going on? Educating them.
Okay. So part of it I think is educating them, but it's a real conversation. It's not just, hey, sign this card so I can turn it in, right? We want to get a bunch of numbers on cards.
Ask about their needs and wants.
That's not the real goal, right? Hey brother, we got some stuff going on. Can I talk to you for a minute? We got tough negotiations coming up. We're all going to need to be in the same boat together, rowing in the same direction. And to do that, we all need to be on the same page. And to make that happen, we're coming together to try to communicate with everybody in the plant about what's happening. We're signing up these cards so that we can get information quickly and be able to move quickly when we need to. Not saying it's going to happen, but if it does need to happen, we need to have a mechanism in place to make things happen and everybody knows what's going on quickly. So, excuse me.
The other thing is getting them out to vote. We can educate them all you want, but getting them to vote. I mean, I'm on the election committee, and it's a sad, sad day to see the people that pass the hall when we're having an election.
Right.
Get home or do what they got to do. Our voting is our power. I mean, we can talk about it all day long, but when you get out to vote, that's where you show them strength in numbers.
Right. That's true. Are you talking about in local elections?
Local work, I mean, any election.
Okay.
Any election.
No, that's true. And again, that's more conversations, right? Educating folks about what's going on and why they should be involved, right? But, you know, the piece with the contract campaign is really that if we're not talking to the membership and we're not trying to plug people in and be able to communicate with them on an efficient basis, it's really tough for the committeemen or the standing committee chairs to go out and get all that information out, right? So in organized campaigns, we always say this: if the company needs to tell you something, how fast do they let everybody know? They either put it up on a screen, they shoot you an email, they send you a text. Everybody knows what's going on within what? One shift? We need to be able to do the same thing on our side. Because if it takes us 2 or 3 days to communicate with folks about something's going on, we're behind the 8 ball already. So that's really the point of this class. It's really to try to get you guys up to speed on the amount of money that these companies have made, the priorities that have been outlined by the National Bargaining Committee and the IEB, and how do we plug you guys into that mechanism? How do we plug you guys into that system, right? So that's really what we came to tell you. And it's a short thing. I'm not going to take up a whole lot of your time. But in reality, what we're going to have to do is basically look at it as an organizing drive, right? So we need committee people, and we call them committee people. You guys have committeemen in the plant, but we call it committee. It's an organizing committee, right? It's a communication committee, right? You got people on those standing committees currently, I'm sure, but they can always use help. So our typical number that we normally do in organizing drives is we always want 10% helping out to communicate with the other 90%. So if you got 10% of the people in the plant talking, they only got to talk to 9 people. That's it. Pretty small group to cover. and nobody's trying to run from this end of the plant, that end of the plant, back over here and over there under, and I gotta go catch this guy over here, right? But in reality, us being able to communicate with the membership directly and talk about things that are going on, and also there may be actions that are going on, escalating actions through the course of negotiations. We may wind up wanting to do gate pass rallies. We may wind up wanting to do card drops. We may wind up doing other things. There may be some stuff that pops up that we didn't even foresee or didn't even think about, right? But the other piece is if there's actions going on in other facilities or other locations, whether it be GM, Ford, Stellantis, whatever it is, it's a mechanism for us to communicate that as well. Hey, did you see the video? They did this over here at this plant, right? So this is also a way for us to let everybody know what's going on around the country as well, right? But at the end of the day, it's going to take you guys to make things happen. Excuse me. And that's why we're talking to folks and doing these classes, is just to try to get everybody up to speed. These folks have been very profitable. And quite honestly, it's time for us to get a little bit back. It's your contract, it's your life. You're the one in there hitting it every day. So to do that, I think it's going to take everybody being involved, and we are going to need some extra help from some people. But in reality, this is really just about being able to mobilize the membership in an efficient manner as we move through these contracts. If they get hung up on something at the national table, they may want an action. Hey, we're going to see if all the Ford plants can do a gate rally pass today. Or hey, we're going to get all those cards together and we're going to drop them in HR's desk. You know, roll the wheelbarrows in, right? There's different things that can happen and different things that can be done. But ultimately, I mean, the local leadership is going to be involved, and they're going to be working with us, and we're going to be communicating. And then anything that's coming from our end or our side is going to be coming through our national department, right? So this is what everybody's going to be doing across the board if that's what's happening. But it's also a way to share with you guys what's going on across the country as well, and where we're at with different things, right? Now, let me say this. If anybody thinks signing up for this electronic information is going to get you blow-by-blow updates from the bargaining table, I'm sorry, it probably ain't going to happen. But just want to disclaimer. So, in general information, things are going good, things are going great. This is what's happening. These are how active the people are in these other facilities. That's the kind of things we need to let people know, because when folks are doing stuff at other facilities, it generates some excitement at other facilities too, right? Hey, they did that, maybe we ought to do this. Or they did that gate pass, maybe we ought to do one. Let's show them what one really looks like. You know, things like that. So that's what it's really about, is just trying to get everybody up to speed about how much money these guys have made. What are the total goals for negotiations? The three big ones, it's not the total. And then, you know, Avery's going to talk to you guys a little bit about moving forward, what does it look like, and kind of how we put this system into play. But my concern was bigger, that conversation, right? Hey, just sign that card is not really a good conversation. You know, talking to folks about what's been happening on the shop floor, right? Man, you know, we've been having a lot of problems with this stuff, you know. Well, we lost COLA, and it equates to $3 an hour, right? And it's time for us to get that back. You're a younger worker. You've not been here as long. Let me tell you from experience, this is how things used to work. This is what we lost.
Hey, Danny?
Yes.